Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a whole new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host, Zoe, with my partner in crime, holding it down in H-Town once again, Mr. Cantu.
How's it going? How's it going? Everything good out here in the H?
Glad to hear draft day is upon. Well, it just passed. We're recording in the night of the draft day. But yes, I am here in the Emerald City. I'm here for All Star weekend. Well, week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. You got the home run derby and you got the All Star game. I'm hoping to see one of those. I'm probably going to see the All Star game, but haven't made my decision. Of course, my background is a TV with the MLB draft. But Angel, this is episode 109. The title was fatigue before the All Star break. The Astros did not get it done against the Seattle Mariners. They only won one out of four games right there. Give me that one word. Describe this series.
I think you hit the nail on the coffin. Fatigued. Like we saw an Astros lineup who couldn't score any runs, and that Friday game was completely brutal. It was all around, both offensively and pitching wise. Hunter Brown, couldn't couldn't get past 4 innings, but again, he's thrown a lot more than he has in the past few years. For example, Brian Abreu made his 43rd appearance on Sunday. His career height was 55. So,
Wow.
and that's just Brian Abreu right now.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter Brown's throwing more pitches than he has before. JP France is throwing more pitches than he has before. B even has to step in again more. So it's like this bullpen, this starting rotation. It's a bunch of young guys, but they're still getting their yeah, they've been here for a year, maybe like some a year or two, but they still have to and it's a long text and see how we've been saying all around. They're
Mm-hmm.
still getting used to that. So it's a well needed break. I think the Astros will definitely benefit from that, and they're they're still in a good spot. Yeah, they're second place. Obviously, Astros fans are used to the Astros being at first place by enormously at this time around, but it's just part of baseball. It's hard to replicate success, and Astros fans have been blessed that the Astros have, and now he's just seeing a part of what's going on. And I think a major part is that the Astros had. I'm going to have a tangent here, but I think that, the not having the two draft picks, like the first round draft picks,
Mm-hmm.
in the draft, really
From that, from the years from the scandal.
yeah. So you're seeing the repercussions of that.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying, fatigue. I mean, looking at the score right now, they lost Thursday, 5-1. Friday, 10-1. Saturday, they won that game 3-2, the only game out of that series. And Sunday, they lose 3-1. So a lot of low scoring games. The offense wasn't there. Pitching, like you were saying, Hunter Brown, I mean, he struggled these last two outings of his starts before the break. And like you were saying, too, he's pitched a lot. This is his rookie season of a full MLB season with the Astros, and then like you're saying, JP France coming in, Brandon Bielak coming in. These guys you never expected to come in this season because if you were telling me this that JP France and Brandon Bielak were going to be in the starting rotation for the mid part of the season, I would be laughing. I would think it's going to be Luis Garcia, and I think that's everybody. I think Luis Garcia, National Colors Jr. would be probably coming into play around this time. Jose Urquidy still holding it down. Injuries. I mean, they've came back on the Astros, and right now that they're dealing with it. I mean, you got to tip your cap. They're still doing a great job at it. I mean, second place, like you're saying, the division behind the Rangers, which is only 2 games back for the AL West, which is a good thing. And then of course you got the Angels, and then the Mariners behind, and of course the Oakland Athletics. But first half of the season, we'll talk about our thoughts later on through the show, but let's get off with our shout outs. So, Angel, start us off with your shout outs from this series against Seattle.
How about Scoby Martin? If you watch Gabriel Glasses,
The
he has a
machete.
yeah. Martin
The
Maldonado.
machete.
He went 2 for 11, 2 home runs, 2 RBIs, and he was a big factor on Saturday's game. He had a go-ahead home run, which was the reason why the Astros won that game, because he had a home run off uh, Adrian Munoz, and then prior to Saturday, he hasn't gotten a hit. Like prior to Saturday's game, he was hitless, and now he hit a home run Saturday, and he hit a home run Sunday. So,
Mhm.
a step in the right direction for Martin Maldonado. Do you think it's? Do you think that's the Yannier Diaz effect, where he's like, "What? I mean, Yannier Diaz,
A little pressure on him,
yeah,
a little bit of competition. It's kind of like it's unfortunate too because the Astros need Maldonado to hit if he's going to be playing, and he hit back to back home runs. I didn't even get to look at the stat on that. I'm really curious to see how long it's been have has Martin Maldonado hit back to back home run games in the past days.
yeah, that'd be interesting to see. I think I think you might have to dig deep on that one, but it'd be
That's
pretty
like
good.
in the archives. I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. And then again on that Saturday's game, Framber Valdez was a huge piece of the Astros victory. Another quality start, 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, 105 pitches, 66 strikes. And because of this start, he will not be able to pitch in the All Star game per Dusty Baker. Now, I know he really wants to.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's been open about that. That he was excited to start. He was supposed to pitch on. Correct me if I'm wrong. On Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I would set him up perfectly to start the All Star game. But I think at this point of the season, it's just Dusty Baker. I think Baker made the right call of
Mm-hmm.
not having him start in the All Star game. It's just an exhibition game, like he said. There's no need to put Framber at risk because you're thinking ahead of the All Star game. You're thinking postseason. You're thinking potentially World Series. Like that's what the Astros are truly worried about. And especially since the All Star game doesn't have that home field advantage anymore, I think
Mm-hmm.
I think that was pretty cool because it meant a lot more, especially to those contenders who like teams went there. But yeah, it's just an exhibition game. There's no need to risk it.
Yeah, I think like you, I agree with you with the Dusty Baker part. But I'm very curious. We talked about it off the air with him. If he had the potential to start that Thursday of the Seattle series, it would have worked perfectly for him to start in the All Star game. And which I'm really, honestly, if I'm a player, yes, you do have that heart. You do want to be able to pitch on a mound, especially against superstars. And this is, the Midsummer Classics where all the superstars come to play from, the first half of the season or even the whole season as well. But for Framber Valdez to be able to start a All Star game, I don't even remember the last Astro to do that. I'm not sure if J.R. Richard had started one. I'm pretty sure Nolan Ryan hasn't. But for Framber, I think that would have been a huge accomplishment and milestone for his career. But at the same time, too, like you were saying, like had Dusty Baker had said, this season's been plagued with injuries and a lot of tax, especially when the guys just played in November too. I mean, there was a little short season, especially with the WBC too, when Framber didn't even participate in that. So future, that's where the Astros are headed and thinking instead of being right now in the present. But you got your two shout outs in. Let me get mine real quick. Hector Neris, outstanding. Well, it was a little rough for him, but outstanding way to come back from that bases loaded jam. 1 inning pitch, 2 walks, 1 hit batter, 2 strikeouts. Neris, like I was saying, pitched out of a bases loaded jam with 0 outs. When I saw 0 outs and Hector Neris with the 8th inning, I'm like, oh no, this ain't good. I know the bullpen has been taxed too, like we've been saying and preaching all this time, but some way, somehow getting 2 outs, at least a dope play. Yes, let that run in, but I mean, he didn't even allow a run. Cal Riley comes in to pitch hit, strikes out. Mike Ford comes up, pops out of Bregman. Jose Caballero comes up, fastball just right down the middle. Froze him, strikeout. You saw the energy he brought. You saw and that's the thing that I love about Hector Neris is he's going to show out his energy off the mound from a big situation like that. That was a postseason playoff type of moment for, if you really think about it. And
Oh
that
yeah,
was very
that's.
clutch from him.
What did you see that replay when he right when he throws that fastball right down the middle to Jose Caballero? He's like kind of mouthing something to Maudi.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't know exactly what he was saying. It could have been he wanted something like fast. Like I tried to make it out. It was kind of like rapido, I think. But again, I'm just speculating there. Uh, but he was pumped. Like, and honestly, I don't know what Jose Cabrera was looking at. That fastball was right down the middle.
Dude, it was a meatball, and that man just sat back and just stared at it. I mean,
Yeah,
he could have been playing with him too, because of course they got pitch com, and you could be mouthing all
uh,
the words you want,
yeah.
and you could be saying stuff like just to fool, to mess with the hitter's mind. Mental,
Little
mental
little
game.
grain little grainkiness in there.
Little. little whatever you want to call that grunt. My last shout out. I think it's going to be very unexpected for Astros fans out there. I'm going to say Rafael Montero.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, Montero has been dealing with a lot of struggles this season. I mean, it's no secret out there that this man is struggling when he comes onto the mound. But I think this series, yes, there was one. I believe he got hammered on one of the pitches, a solo home run. But I mean, Sunday's game, he went two scoreless innings. And I think that's a big positive step for him. You get that break off too to recuperate, do something. Look at film if you want to. Just relax, get the mind right, get ready for the second half of the season. But this series, 4 innings pitched, one hit, one earned run, one walk, one strikeout. I think it was a good success for him to come onto the mound, and yes, it was some situations like that game against the Astros on Sunday was 3-1. It was still, you know, probable for the Astros to win that game, but offense wasn't there. And, Montero did his job. So tip my cap to him. Yes, he's been struggling this whole season, but this series to be able to pitch a game like that against a, good offensive team, I think he deserves a good shout out for me.
No, yeah, I agree with you 100%. He has been um, a lot better. He's
Mm-hmm.
like, it's just kind of showing you how these guys really want to get better, like really want to contribute to their team. Um, but yeah, like he's made some adjustments. Baseball's a game of adjustments, and you're seeing it with Rafael Montero. Now let's move on a little bit to our. There's four. I feel like there's four um, key pieces that are injured, and that's Altuve, Alvarez, Brantley, and Urquidy. Obviously, we won't see Lance McCullers
Yeah,
back this year, so it's
them are guys you want in your lineup.
yeah. No, yeah, definitely. So let's start with Altuve. According to China Rome, Jose Altuve was taking ground balls and tracking pitches against Jose Urquidy during a live batting practice on Sunday. Again, that's a really good step in the right direction, especially because that
Mm-hmm.
oblique injury, so it kind of like limits
Mm-hmm.
movement of players like especially a second baseman when they have to be get down at the ball and stuff like that. So when they're swinging as well, so a good step in the right direction for Altuve, and then for Jordan Alvarez, he stood in the batter's box just tracking pitches during Jose Urquidy's live batting practice session at Minute Park. Per Brian Taggart, he did take batting practice off a pitching machine. He even, if you follow him on Twitter, he posted a video of that as well. And there will be a discussion about a possible rehab assignment when he gets back from the All-Star game in Seattle. Michael Brantley still has been shut down from baseball activities. Again, this is the more worrisome of all four of the players. Michael Brown is still not doing any baseball activities. It's unclear what he'll do over the All Star break. Dana Brown did mention again they're eyeing that late August, September timetable. So again, they're just taking it real slow. Michael Brown is a veteran, so I feel like when you're younger, you're able to recuperate from an injury a lot faster. Now,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, like I'm not calling Michael Brantley old or anything, but age does take a toll at times.
Yeah.
He's a 10+ year vet, so you know, and
Especially them shoulder injuries too, dude. Them
no,
shoulder injuries aren't easy to come back. It's just like that oblique. The oblique injuries are kind of uncertain how you're going to come back and how you're going to play out. But it's the same thing as your shoulder, your rotator cuff, and the swing. Just think of Corbin Carroll just hit this past series against the New York Mets. He swung and he hyperextended that shoulder. It looked really bad, and luckily, it wasn't a big injury for the Arizona Diamondbacks. So yeah, shoulder injuries are going to be a little, step by step kind of thing for people to come back through. But Michael Brantley's age, like you were saying, it's going to be very difficult for him to come.
yeah, because honestly, that Corbin Carroll, like the way he swings, like I feel like he
Hmm.
just put so bad, like it looked
Yeah,
bad.
it looked really bad. Like I
Yeah,
honestly thought like he was going to be at least out for a month, or I know for sure the All Star game, but he's still playing right now as we speak.
yeah, I think he took. I'm not, I think he was back the next day. It was like if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
I think it was like either a day or two. He had a day off, and I mean he was back. And I think the D backs manager as well were like, we thought it was worse. It looked like
Mhm.
because if you look at the swing, it looked bad. Like
Yeah,
he as soon as he swung, he already went down and he was already walking to the dugout.
yeah, no, but he was very fortunate there. And then Jose Urquidy threw a bullpen on Friday. On Sunday, he threw a simulated game facing Kessinger, Alvarez, and Altuve. This is all according to China Rome. Urquidy and Alvarez will be participating in a rehab assignment shortly after the All Star break. Jose Altuve is still a week behind. So again, or like
Interesting.
Akini has been throwing a lot
Hmm.
more. I think he threw all 4 days while Seattle was there. And yeah, he's. I actually asked him. Later in the clip, as I asked him, like, "Are you throwing like around 80%?" He was like, "Yeah, around that area." So he's not exactly 100% yet, but he is ramping it up, and those rehab assignments will be crucial for his return. But you know, good news coming for Astros fans. Like those injured players are
Patience.
coming back. Yeah, and
Yeah, I think that's the thing.
and not to worry. Again, the Astros are still in a good spot, and we'll talk about that a little bit. Go ahead, so take it away.
Yeah, so like patience, yeah, like you're saying, is going to be key. And I think Javier Gonzalez, I know his at on Twitter is Astros coverage. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's Urquidy, just like you were saying. And Urquidy said he's still not 100%, which is, obviously you're going to take your time. What I'm really shocked about is seeing Jose Altuve still a week behind. I'm very shocked about that. I didn't think it was going to be that bad for him because he said it was minor. It wasn't nothing big or nothing major. So we'll
Well,
just have go ahead.
compared to Alvarez and Kitty, he did injure a lot later.
Mhm.
So
Oh, well,
again,
yeah, for them two guys, yeah.
yeah. So then, and I think again, they're not gonna rush him again because
Hmm.
like they're looking forward
The
to
longevity,
October. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's just better being safe than sorry.
Exactly, but yeah, that is the future. I mean, well, this is the present. They're looking into the future, and then the Astros are looking into the future too, as well. MLB draft has happened yesterday. I was there live to see it. A lot of boos from Mariners fans and other baseball fans out there when Manfred said the Astros were on the clock. And the Houston Astros selected with their number 28 pick, Mr. Brice Matthews from the University of Wisconsin, a shortstop. And this is what Peter Flaherty, college baseball writer, MLB draft for Baseball America, had to say about um, Mr. Matthews. He said he was an athletic freak, lightning quick hands, and plus power to the pull side, plus runner with high ceiling. He batted 359 batting average last year with 11 doubles, 20 home runs, and 20 stolen bases. And even on the ESPN coverage, they say he could possibly play third base or second base. So, because if you think about it, Jerry Pena, I mean, this is his second year in the big leagues. And I'm pretty sure Astro fans out there are wondering, well, why did we go for another shortstop? And that's the same thing. This is almost the same situation as Bregman when Correa had gotten called up in 2015. And think about it, 2016 was the year that Bregman got drafted, and he was a shortstop at LSU. So it's almost the same situation right here with Pena and getting Matthews. So Matthews could be in a corner position. Of course, you got to think about Altuve's contract. You got to think about Bregman's contract. They'll be free agents in 2 years from now. Yeah, I mean, it could happen. You got to trust Dana Brown's instincts too, because I mean, this guy was a VP of scouting. This guy had went to get guys like Von Grisham, Spencer Strider, Michael Harris II from the Atlanta Braves. Well, look at how that organization is running right now. They look really great, and the way they develop players down there is really nice. And the Astros are the same way. They do great job at developing players like Yainer Diaz, Hunter Brown, Corey Lee, all these other guys, JP France. So I mean, this kid, I mean, if you look at the highlights, there was a highlight I saw that he was playing against Creighton, right down the, inside sinker, pulled it.
Launched
Kid
it.
got some pop. So it could be very promising for the Astros to see what this kid brings to the table.
Yeah, and I think because he was listed as a shortstop, some fans tend to like how you were saying,
Mm-hmm.
well, we got Jeremy Pena, what's going on? But I feel like this is more like an Alex, like, again, exactly as an Alex Bregman situation where you take the best guy that's available on the draft,
Yeah.
like not worried about position, not worried, you know, about like the logistics side of it. It's just like he's the best guy available. We they like what they see, and that's
Mm-hmm.
just another case of that. I do agree. Um, because there's still uncertainty with like Bregman's contract's coming up as well.
Mm-hmm.
Altuve like this gonna be a little bit more recent, so you have a backup just in case things. I mean, hopefully things do get done. I think Astros fans want to see Altuve and Bregman with the Astros as long as possible, but just in case you have a backup plan. And then just
Yeah.
like with Pedro Leon, like Pedro Leon came as a middle infielder, and look at him now. He is a center fielder. JC
Mm-hmm.
Correa was drafted as second baseman. They moved him to a catcher.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, yeah, I wouldn't pay too much attention to that position that's listed as it was drafted. Like maybe he does become a shortstop, right? But
Yeah.
baseball's not like a sport like football where a wide receiver is gonna play wide receiver. It's like that. It's more like it,
Hmm.
like these guys are superior athletes where you can plug them in anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that he said, athletic freak, an
Yeah.
athlete. So this guy is going to be very versatile, I think. If you think about it, look at the situation from last year. We had the Astros had Emmanuel Valdez, and they went to trade for Christian Vasquez. They sent him to Boston. It was a one-on-one trade. And now, if you think about it, too, the Astros have a lot of depth in the outfield, and I think this was a good move to kind of go get an infielder. And like you were saying, this could have been the kid that was probably the best one, best available in the draft. And I really trust Dana Brown on his antics. Being a scout for so many years and being a VP of the scouting department. Of course, he's going to be very vocal, even though he is the Astros GM. He is still going to be very vocal in any type of scouting information. So
Yeah,
we'll have to see how this goes.
I think he reminds me of like the infield version of Drew Gilbert. His
True.
power, speed, like
Yeah.
like I didn't like they're almost like the same person, just like different positions.
Yeah, speaking of Drew Gilbert too, I mean he performed pretty well in the MLB Futures game
Mhm.
out there in Seattle on the first day out of the whole 3 day event that the All Star Week was happening. He was 1 for 2 with a single. That first hit though, I mean it was I believe it was 95 plus off his bat. It was down first base line. First baseman made a great play, so looked very promising from Drew being his first time being out there in the All Star Futures game. And like I said, I think he could be possibly being the Astros outfield situation maybe in 2 years. I'd say a year from two.
Speaking of All Star festivities, did you see Ryan Howard launch that softball?
I
Uh,
didn't. I did see a video on Twitter about it, but I did not see like
like,
live. That would have been cool to see though.
yeah, like he almost cleared the like like he pulled it. He almost cleared the fence like
It wasn't
easy.
at the warning track though.
Yeah, it was at the warning track. I'm saying like he almost cleared the fence on the softball. Like I don't know whose idea was that. I mean, like it's fun to see,
Especially
but
his age. I mean, he's not that old. I mean, you
no,
usually put
it's
out
not.
your not old players, but like your 40-year-old, 50-year-old kind of guys. The big retirees. Ryan Howard still got some pop in that bat.
Oh, for
But
sure.
moving on, we got to say and we got to talk about the first half of this season. Thoughts on it? Let's vent on it. Whatever we want to do. So, Angel, I'm gonna ask you, dude. Like, your one word describe this series. I want your thoughts on the first half of this season, man. I mean, it's been up and down, roller coaster, and all this other stuff. Tell me, what do you think about it?
I think we're gonna say almost the same thing. It was a
Mm-hmm.
roller coaster of the first half. There was a bunch of great, but there was also a bunch of like things could have gone better.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I like Astros are in a good spot.
Yeah,
Like they just saw the Rangers take off, and I feel like the Astros were like more like fighting for wins, scrapping them here, scrapping them there, and just like some games they just let them get away from them, and like they lost some. Like I feel like a big loss was that Twin series when they went extra innings. Like
yeah,
no, I'm sorry, I don't know if it was the Twins or Guardians where they just like went extra innings, and there was like some tough ones, but only 2 games back,
mm-hmm.
second place, like, and I don't even want to talk about injuries. Like I don't want to hear it. Everybody knows, but that's why I said roller coaster, right? But good spot. Hopefully, the Astros get a little bit more luck on their side. I feel like there are some close ones where a pitch away and a bat away,
Yeah.
and then honestly, they could be a lot better than what the record shows.
I agree. I 100% agree. Real quick, I want to say the schedule for the next, couple games after the All Star break. So the Rangers are having a tough schedule. I'm just gonna say it like that. I'm gonna say their schedule,
It's
what they
balancing out
have
now.
next. Yeah. So they got Cleveland. Let me see, is that away or home? They got Cleveland at home and Arlington. They got Tampa Bay. They got the Dodgers at home, and then they come to Houston to face the Astros. And then after they play the Astros, they fly to San Diego, and that's the end of the July schedule for them. For the Astros, they play the Angels away, they play the Rockies away, they play the Oakland Athletics away. They come back to Houston, they play the Rangers. After the Rangers, they played the Rays, and then they'll play the Guardians. So the Astros have a great, I mean, great chance at taking that division right there at number one. But at the same time, too, Astros got to take care of business against them under 500 teams, and we've talked about that before. How sometimes it does go their way, sometimes it just they play to that competition. But my thoughts with the season being the first half for the Astros. I mean, like you were saying, roller coaster injuries. They've been brutal. And I think I can't even remember the last time the Astros had so many injuries like this. I can't even remember. Like I said, if you really maybe 2020 when they lost Verlander the first game of that COVID year and Alvarez with that knee surgery, and that was going to the ALCS in Game 7. Think about that.
Yeah, they're
But
like they're close.
yeah, I mean they're close, but like you were saying too, I'm happy where they're at. I'm very happy where the Astros stand. 2 games behind the Rangers, and I just announced what the schedule looks like for both teams. The Astros got a great opportunity, and this is without Luis Garcia. This is without Jose Urquidy. This is without Lance McCullers Jr. This is without Jordan Alvarez, Jose Altuve, Michael Brantley. Think about that, dude. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, the rookies have been stepping up, and them are huge shout outs. Corey Jokes, Jake Myers, Chas McCormick. The bottom of the lineup is hitting where they need to be. The
Dubon,
outfield,
Dubon.
Mauricio Dubon, JP France, Ronel Blanco. You got to throw in there too. That Brandon
Abreu,
Belak. Abreu starting to get his swing together.
Brian Abreu too.
Brian Abreu as well, bullpen. I mean, even though they've been taxed, I mean they're starting to figure it out, and that's what they need to do. And I mean they got a good ERA for both bullpen and starter rotations. So you got to be excited and happy where the Astros stand right now. Yes, there's been ups, there's been downs, and luckily I saw Robert Flores from MLB Central.
Row flow.
Yep, MLB Network, Roflo, Houstonian. Well, I don't know if he actually. I think he's from San Antonio. He's a Texan though. I know that for sure. Um, but I saw him. I actually went to interview him real quick. I just asked him two, simple questions, and I wanted him, give me his thoughts about the first half of the Astro season. He said it's obviously been up and down. Injuries, especially to starting pitchers, a very difficult thing to overcome. Offensively inconsistent, but he said despite all that, they're still in the mix to win the division. This came from Roflo's mouth. I'll post that video of me and him talking and interviewing on our social media platforms. But I mean, like we said, like Roflo said, I mean, you got to be happy where the Astros stand. It could have been worse. Think about it. Without Jordan Alvarez and without all these starting pitchers and things like that, and then we're not even to the trade deadline yet to see what Dana Brown's going to do. Obviously, there's going to be moves going to starting pitcher and a left-handed bat. So possibly the number one thing that comes into my mind at the deadline when it comes to them two being the most important things to grab is Marcus Stroman and Cody Bellinger. That is their left-handed bat, and there's your starting pitcher. So we'll just have to see what happens about that. But thoughts on the first half of the season, you got to be, positive about where the Astros stand.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I guess all three of us agree. Shout out to Robert Flores, right? You know,
Yeah.
what like all three of us aren't concerned at all at the Astro State. It's a long season. You know, look at what the Nationals did when they won the World Series. The Cardinals coming back. I feel like the Cardinals like a few years ago are always at this spot where they're second, third, and they just come up and fire out. So that's a good spot. But moving on to around the league, the final MLB All-Star replacements for the injured players are revealed. I don't know, Zoe. I'm about to ask you your thoughts in a bit. There's a question. You got Minnesota Pablo Lopez replacing Toronto Kevin Gausman. Milwaukee's Brewers Corbin Burns replaces Atlanta Spencer Strider. New York Mets Kodai Senga replaces Marcus Stroman. Alex Cobb from San Francisco replaces Atlanta's Bryce Elder. Phillies Craig Kimbrell replaces Devin Williams from Milwaukee. Blue Jays Jordan Romano replaces Framber Valdez. Angels Carlos Estevez replaces Emmanuel Clase. That's a surprising one for me.
Mhm.
Um, Arizona Gerardo Perdomo replaces Chicago Cubs Dansby Swanson. What are your thoughts?
The one that comes up to me is Cody Senga. I mean, honestly, he hasn't had great season. I mean, this is his first season in the majors as well, coming from Japan. He got that big contract from Steve Cohen from the Mets. But Senga's ERA, I mean, he's been very inconsistent too, especially this Mets team right now, how they're playing. I honestly did not think, like I said, being honest, I don't think Senga really deserved to be in that starting if replacing Marcus Stroman. I don't know what other starting pitcher I would think of.
Blake Snell, I
Um,
would think.
but National League though, this is a National League reserve. You got Marcus
Blake Snell,
Stroman. Oh yeah, well Blake's
Padres.
yeah,
Yeah,
Blake
Houston
Snell.
Padres.
Blake Snell is definitely the number one. I think he's been pitching really good after Kerry Sanchez has got there.
Yeah.
Another one I was thinking of was Andrew Abbott. I think he's been pitching
Oh,
really good for the
yeah.
Reds. So I think
I
he
like
could
that
have
one too.
deserved, some recognition for them, especially what the Reds are doing this year. But yeah, the number one guy for me was Kodai Senga.
That ghost forkball made it to the All
It's
Stars.
a good pitch. No, no lies about that. But I think there was better options to choose from.
For me, it's Gerardo Perdomo replacing Dansby Swanson. Uh, I don't know. His numbers are. I mean, they're not bad, but I think at some moment I can't think, but I know there was like better options for that. I think it was if Elita Cruz comes up earlier and does what he does, he's an all star. Probably like beats that out, but I don't know. Like that one was a little. That was a head scratcher for me as
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how the things go here. I don't know how how they decide on the right. I don't know. Maybe it's a write-in that they thought about, but yeah. I mean, Blake
well.
Snell should be in it. Fernando Tatis Jr. should be in it, and I'm not even.
Oh,
I
there you go,
like
Tatis.
I like Tatis. He's one of the most electrifying players, of course, with that whole PED stuff and everything like that. But he's came back. I mean, he's looked good at the plate. He's on the top of the list for right fielders. You're talking about a shortstop going to right field, and didn't he win a Gold Glove at shortstop?
Okay,
No, no, no. I'm not 100%. I know he was on the All MLB team at shortstop in the
you
infield.
know what?
I know that
I
for
got you.
sure. Check that out. But him, changing positions to be in a right fielder, and he's on one of the top guys in the outfield for DRS, which is defensive run save. I mean, this guy really deserves it. And like I was saying with Blake Snell too, Blake Snell, with ever since Gary Sanchez has came into the organization, he has changed. I mean, this guy, you have him on fantasy. I don't know, um, you know, too much about what his ERA right now is and things like that, but I mean, he's looked very good. I mean, he looks like that Snell, what is it, Snellzilla from Tampa Bay. Whenever he
Yeah,
won the Cy Young in 2020, he looks exactly like that for the Padres. And shockingly, the Padres aren't even playing that good. And you got a guy like that that's pitching his butt off.
I'll tell you how good he's been. Before Gary Sanchez came in, he had a five something ERA. Now 2.85.
Oh.
Yeah, and then for I I looked up Fernando Tatis. He does not have a Gold Glove, but he does have two Silver Sluggers at shortstop.
I know for sure he has an All MLB team. I just don't know if it's the first or second team. But that's what I'm saying. You transition from a shortstop to an outfielder just like that quickly. You got to give credit to him, man. But
Yeah,
like I
well,
said, I don't
Jazz
know.
Jazz Chisenhall did the same thing, moving from
Yeah,
second to.
second base to outfield. So we talked about that with the draft. I mean, you don't know. Brice Matthews could be an outfielder later in the future. So
you know. But the future's bright for Brice Matthews for sure.
yeah,
Um, Ayo, since Aaron Judge and Mike Trout are out of the All Star game because they were injured, Adolis Garcia and Austin Hayes have been named the starters for the AL and outfielders. I think Adolis Garcia really deserved it, and Austin Hayes as well. That Oriole Ball Club is exceeding expectations a lot earlier than what they expected. And then we had a no hitter in the Motor City.
wow.
The Detroit Tigers threw a combined no hitter against the Toronto Blue Jays. Like that's out of all the teams to throw no
All
hitter,
the teams, man.
that's a good
That's
one.
shocking.
I think like there was a time where I don't know if he still does. But I would have to double check. But Bo Bichette like led the league in hits for a while. You got Vladimir on the other side, Springer on the other side. Um, that's a That's a really good ball club.
Yeah, like I said, I'm very shocked with the Tigers being that combined no hitter. I think that was like one of the craziest stories from you thought Domingo Herman getting a perfect game for the Yankees, which you remember them first two starts before he did that no hitter, not no hitter, but the perfect game, which is a no hitter, obviously. But he had given up like seven runs in the first outing, and then the second start before the perfect game, he gave up six. And all of a sudden, you throw a perfect game. I mean, like that's crazy. I mean, that's baseball though too. At the same time, and I believe there are three no hitters this season. I'm not completely 100%. I know Domingo Herman, and then the Tigers one uh, being the guy, being the team to do it. I could be wrong though. I feel like there was another combined no hitter.
That was the perfect game, Domingo Hermanzo. You
No, I
mentioned.
already said that. I'm thinking of the combined no hitters. I feel like I'm just missing one, but I'm not 100% sure. But our last thing I wanted to put out, we're going to put out, is our first half season awards. Who do you think belongs to be the offensive MVP of the first half, the pitching MVP of the first half, the team MVP of the first half, and the rookie of the first half? So, Angel, let me start it off. Offensive, I'm gonna go with Kyle Tucker. Ever since Jordan Alvarez had gotten hurt in what I think it was in April, not April, but June, when they traveled to Toronto, Canada, he has taken over this offense. He has hit better. He got an All Star bid for a reason. He hit in 293 right now as we speak. He is tied, I believe, with RBIs, or he might have the lead actually with RBIs now. Him or Bregman. He's tied with Corey Jokes with stolen bases. So this guy's doing it all for the Astros offensively. You know, speed, the contact, the power. King Tuck's been doing it. I think he deserves to be the offensive MVP of the first half. How about yours?
Give me Jordan Alvarez. If he doesn't get hurt, this first half of offense MVP is a no brainer.
Yeah.
It's unanimous. That will be Jordan Alvarez. Unfortunately, he did get hurt, but you just saw how much of a difference Jordan Alvarez is in this Astros lineup, and how much of a luxury that the Astros have because of Jordan Alvarez. Like, he's
Hmm.
just on another planet when he's on healthy and in this lineup. So he is my offensive MVP this year. What about
Definitely.
for pitching?
Definitely that's going to be a good one. Pitching, I got Framber. I think I
Of
could have
course,
spoke for both of us, but I mean Framber right now with the ERA and low. I know for sure in the American League. I'm not sure and in the majors the lowest ERA, but he's been pitching good even though he did miss one start, and of course he doesn't have his quality to start tours. I mean he's been pitching great like an ace that he is for this Astros ball club, especially when Justin Verlander left Houston. Framber stepped up in a big way, and he's showing that he is the ace of the Houston Astros. So I think he's my MVP. I'm very confident putting him as the pitching MVP. How about yours?
I agree with you 100%. But just to be a little different, give me JP France. He has really stepped up
Hmm.
big. He has 7 quality starts already since he's been promoted, and he's been holding it down in the starting rotation. He has pitched well against the Dodgers, pitched well against, I forgot who he pitched last time against. I'm blanking right here.
He
Was it Seattle?
played not Seattle. It was Colorado. Colorado.
Colorado?
Hmm.
Colorado. That's another quality start. But yeah, he's pitched against great teams, and he's done well. He has showed that he can be the future of this rotation.
Definitely he can. And next award, the team MVP of the first half. You go. Tell me who is your team MVP since I already had did the first two.
Kyle Tucker. Uh, just to echo what you were saying, he's been the most consistent. He's been fortunate to stay healthy, so I feel like he's been one of the most reliable Astros this season, and he's been a leader out there, like leading the outfield. I feel like he's like a silent leader for sure. Like, he
Oh yeah.
doesn't show much, but I'm like in that clubhouse, he's well respected, and a great role model for the young guys, especially the young outfielders that the Astros have. Corey Jokes, Jake Myers, like, they have a really good person
Hmm.
uh to look up to in Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, totally agree. You can't go wrong with Mr. King Tuck. But another guy I think that really deserves it, no offense to Kyle Tucker, is Mauricio Dubon.
I agree.
Jose Altuve being out with that fractured thumb or fractured finger, whatever part of the hand it was devastating. Astros fans knew that it was going to be difficult to see who's going to step up. I don't even think 100% of the Astros fans out there think that Mauricio Dubon was going to be the guy. I don't think one person. This guy was leading the American League in batting average at a time. Think about that. I mean, he had
Like
a what
16 game hit streak.
16-game hitting streak as well. I mean, he was doing it all. He was almost playing like an everyday starter. But when Altuve came back, he took his role, being the utility player that he is, and he took a step back. He's like, look, I enjoyed whenever I could, but I want to do whatever I can to help this team win, and that's what you need in a kind of a leader in your team. And of course, Mauricio Dubon's not going to be the leader, but being that guy to come up in situations like, hey, coach, you need me in the infield. Hey, coach, do you need me to swing a bat? Hey, coach, do you need me a defensive replacement? Dusty can go on and rely on Mr. Dubon. And Doobie's been doing a great job this whole season, stepping up with the absence of Jordan Alvarez, especially Jose Altuve, Jeremy Pena, whenever he had that little neck discomfort that he was dealing with. I mean, he's done it all. And I think that's why he deserves to be the team MVP for this season.
I
Well,
agree.
this first half of the season.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. He is a team player, and who you're saying we can always count on Mauricio Dubon to play at any hit in any spot of the lineup, play at any position except obviously catcher and pitcher. And
Yeah.
like maybe he can like chunk it a little bit. But uh, what about your rookie of the first half? What do you got? Or I can go first. You want me to? Whatever.
I'll go. You already asked me. I'll go with Corey Jokes. Give me the Houstonian. Give me the guy from Clearbrook, Friendswood area. Went to Clearbrook High School. Went to U of H. Studied. I don't know if he graduated, but he did play baseball there. Yeah, give me him. I mean, he's done a great job learning in this first half of the season. Um, I mean, it's been a little up and down ride for him being his first major league season with the Astros. I honestly didn't think he was going to be on the Astros opening day roster, but hey, I mean, he did. He's been doing great. He's been making adjustments too. Ari Alexander had a tweet. I'm not 100. Like I can't find the tweet right now, but they were talking about his walk to strikeout ratio, and it's changed dramatically. He has been having a better play discipline this like last part of the first half. July, he's hitting 407. The month prior to that in June, he was hitting 260. He's been making adjustments, and that's what you do as a rookie. You're going to have to make an adjustment to be in this league. If you're going to want to play in the majors for a while, you're going to have to make adjustments, and that's what Mr. Jokes is doing. Jokes Mania is doing what he can to stay on this MLB roster. He's kind of putting pressure really on the coaching staff to see who to play every day, especially with Chas McCormick, Jake Myers. Jordan Alvarez is going to come back soon. We don't know the future of Michael Brantley. Trade deadline's coming up too. We don't know the future of Corey Jokes if he's going to be in the Astros uniform, but I mean, this guy has been having a good first half of the season, so that's going to be my guy as the rookie.
I found it. So this is according to Ari Alexander. Corey Jokes walk to strikeout ratio through May, 4 walks, 39 strikeouts. Corey Jokes walked to strikeout ratio June 1st, 12 walks, 21 strikeouts.
Yeah.
Right? So that is a huge difference. And you know what?
Very huge.
I could be wrong, but there's also a possibility that it could be true to this. Jose Altuve came back in June, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Jose Altuve is known as this free swinger. He's like ready to hit the ball at whatever it's at. He's been taking a lot more walks as well, right? So as Altuve, the leader of that clubhouse, again, the rookies learn from the veterans.
Mm-hmm.
There was like Altuve's been taking a lot more walks. Well, guess what's going to happen? Those young guys are going to be doing the same thing, especially as a potentially future Hall of Famer, Jose Altuve. So again, Astros are such a team first type of team, and just that and it just goes to show how big of a value those players like Jose Altuve and Jordan Alvarez are for this team.
Definitely.
But my rookie of the first half is Yanier Diaz. I think he has solidified himself as an everyday player for the Astros in that DH spot. I do want to see him catch a little bit more. I think he does. I think he's earned it right. But again, uh, Martin Maldonado is that veteran catcher, so he's going to get all the time that he needs, right? But Yanni
Definitely.
Diaz, even through that, he hasn't let that part of that situation get to him, and he's made the best of out of every opportunity. I think he has over 10 home runs already, or he's at 10. Um, and he's been pretty good at that DH row. Even like he's been in
Yeah.
that 6, 7 row, a 7 spot in the lineup, and he showed some pop even outside Minute Maid Park.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what the Astros are going to do when Alvarez comes back. You got to think about too if Michael Brantley does come back. I feel like I said before, I feel like it's going to be like that Carlos Beltran situation in 2017 where Brantley does play a little bit of games, but not as much as he would want to, I would think. But with, like you're saying, Yainer Diaz has been stepping up in that DH role. And Dusty, the beginning was a three catcher, and three catchers in the Astros depth roster, whatever you want to call it. And now Dusty's like, you know what? Let me just get Yainer and I'm going to go roll the dice with Martin Maldonado. Just getting two catchers. Option Cesar Salazar, go get a bullpen piece to help the bullpen as well with the arms. And it's been working out fine, really, honestly. I mean, I think they had to burn the DH two times maybe
Okay.
ever since they've done that. So Yonder Diaz has been doing a very good job being in that DH role. Yes, there are some times he does free swing. I'm not gonna lie about that,
Yeah, there's some at
but
bats that are kind of
they're a little iffy.
questionable. Yeah.
Hey, but I mean, when that ball and that back connect, man, exit velo is about 99 plus. So we'll just have to see what happens in the future. Of course, you got Martin Maldonado being the mentor for Yainer Diaz, but it's all for a show, dude. First half of the season,
It's in the
um,
books.
it's in the books. Roller coaster, like I said, and like we said as well. It's just been a different type of start to see from the Astros, like we've seen from recent starts from them. So, other than that, continue to follow us at Full Steam Ahead on Twitter and on TikTok. Subscribe to our new YouTube channel. Of course, Full Steam Ahead on there. Subscribe to our podcast platforms from Apple, Google, and Spotify as well. And then we're also on Instagram. We're on Threads. Shout out to our winner of the Bregman bobblehead on Instagram. I believe her name was Maria Anthony. Congrats to you. We'll be sending out your bobblehead soon. But other than that, Angel, do you have anything else before we sign off?
No, not much. First half done. It was. I'm sure it was stressful to Astros fan, just because they're used to the Astros being successful. Now you're showing like the effects of how teams in this division are getting better and teams in are getting better. So it's to be a dogfight. But again, Astros are in a good spot. No, no need to panic.
Definitely agree. Second half of the season's coming up. We will do a two-part special for our MLB trade deadline. Of course, we have something else to announce later on, but we won't be recording until I believe Sunday. So we're getting a break ourselves because it's a lot to talk about with baseball and the Astros. But stay safe out there. Y'all have fun. Be safe this week. Watch some baseball or relax from some baseball because second half of the season is coming up. Playoffs is coming. Trade deadline's coming. It's going to come before you know it. But other than that, we will talk to y'all later whenever we can. See ya.
Peace.